Before this gets any darker, take 1 second to like, comment, share, and subscribe because stories like this don't stay buried for long. You won't believe what investigators discovered when a man walked into a police station and confessed to a crime no one knew had even happened. It was after midnight when he asked to speak to detectives. Calm, polite, almost relieved. He said he was responsible for a disappearance that hadn't been reported publicly, a case that wasn't in the news, and barely existed outside a few internal files. At first, officers assumed it was another false confession. It happens more than people think. But then he started talking. He named a location where the missing person had last been seen, down to a specific side street. He described clothing that had never been released. He mentioned a personal item investigators had found but kept confidential. The room changed instantly. This wasn't luck. This wasn't guessing. Detectives reopened the case overnight. Records were pulled, old interviews were reviewed, and, shockingly, the man's timeline matched gaps investigators had never been able to explain. For days, he was questioned. His story stayed steady. No contradictions. No hesitation. It felt like the truth was finally surfacing. Then, without warning, he took it all back. He said the confession was a lie. He claimed he'd been stressed, confused, pressured by his own thoughts. He asked for a lawyer and stopped talking altogether. When police tried to build a case, everything fell apart. There was no physical evidence tying him to the disappearance, no witnesses, no forensic link strong enough to hold in court. So the question changed. How did he know what only the investigators knew? Some detectives believe he was directly involved and panicked when the consequences became real. Others think someone else fed him the details, using him as a shield. And a few believe the most unsettling theory of all, that the real truth was spoken once, then deliberately buried. The case stalled again. Years passed. Files gathered dust. But that confession never stopped haunting the people who heard it, because somewhere between his first words and his silence, the truth slipped through the cracks. And if you want to follow where that trail might really lead, there are more cases like this waiting on this channel. Because this story was never the end, it was only the warning.